Our partners in promoting economic development, the Industrial Development Corporation, every week introduces you to opportunities and funding for your growth. The IDC will be hosting the National Youth Entrepreneurship Conference, and in the lead up to that, we talk to young voices in business to discuss their experiences. And one such voice is that of Sesethu Loyilane, founder of Vuka Business Consultants, and they provide consulting services in the construction industry. Sesethu is with us tonight, and pleasure to have you with us, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Modise, and thank you to your listeners.
Much appreciated. You've been in business for how many years now?
I've been in business for 9 years.
9 years in the construction sector.
Well, I started off in the consulting sector, business development, working with institutions like the Umsobomvu Youth Fund, then Kula, CEDA, and then grown into the construction industry.
Well, when you say you were working with the other agencies that you mentioned, what do you mean by that?
Okay, sorry. Well, I was providing business development services, meaning that I was consulting with the aspiring entrepreneurs that were awarded or given. There was a voucher program by the Umsobomvu Youth Fund then, where they were assisting young entrepreneurs with access to business support services like business plans, marketing plans, feasibility studies, etc. So I was helping those people to develop those plans so that they can present them for funding to financiers like Msobomvu, Kula or CEDA or whoever they wanted to present it to at that point.
So your involvement in construction is more as a consultant than as somebody who is practically involved in construction?
My involvement started when there was a huge excitement about construction in the build-up to the 2010 World Cup.
Yes.
As a result, we found out that we're consulting more people that were in construction at that time.
Yes.
But when you really actually get to the character of this entrepreneur and their skills, we found out that they actually had more skills in doing the work rather than the business admin skills.
Okay.
So we came in to patch that gap, where we then actively looked for construction projects and then would then subcontract the very same clients that we're assisting with business plans, looking at their problems and accessing job opportunities. So that's how I then got into construction and then has grown from that arrangement to having a grade 6 CIDB rating, which the CIDB rates construction companies from a scale of 1 to 9.
Yeah.
So I'm currently on 6. But again, when one looks at the gaps within the construction industry, I then realized that there's actually more to this industry than just brick and mortar, which then got me into the space of conducting assessments on houses that are currently under construction, and secondly, houses that have already been constructed that maybe you, Mr. Modise, are interested in buying a second-hand home, helping you to actually make the decision to buy this house. Is the structure with the integrity that you expect it to have?
Well, let me interrupt you there for a moment because I'm going to go all over the place and then draw on your experience. Right?
Okay.
Is that all right? Is that fair?
That's fair. That's okay.
You told me about an app that you have developed, your company has. What is it called, by the way?
HouseLab.
HouseLab, right? And how does it work? I mean, it's a bit difficult for me to understand how an app would apply in the construction of a structure, a house, a building, or whatever. But just explain that.
Okay. With the industry, there's a problem in terms of quality assurance, in terms of efficiency, helping also the client and the contractor to communicate effectively all the time and be in the same level of understanding. Now, how the app helps both the client and the contractor is such that if you have your house being constructed or under construction at the present moment, it could give you access to information real time wherever you are. You can just log in and see the progress on your site. How does that happen? We've taken information that we've collected over the years when it comes to the scientific information about building a house, from the digging and trenching of the platform up to the roof. So the app has all the measurements. You can put in measurements. It can actually calculate a score for rating for your house and tell you from a scale of 100, how much integrity does your house have? Is it 40% out of 100? And then you can make decisions and understand where the shortcomings are with your contractor.
All right. And I'll come back to the app in a moment. Your relationship with the IDC, so where do they come in? Because you come from the days of Umsabomvu Fund, and now you are one of the voices of the IDC.
The IDC has been proactive in looking for young entrepreneurs with the very same conference that you were referring to, Mr. Modise. And I think, I don't want to say much, but I think all will be revealed at the conference. But they have a very interesting program where they are looking at the voices of young entrepreneurs, which I think is a very important initiative, because most often, as young people, we're not involved in these decisions about our needs. Maybe let me put it that way. That young people, they have a problem with finances, there's a problem with this, there's a problem with that, but there has never been an initiative to get those young people that are in business and give them a voice. So the IDC has actually done that, and I applaud them on that, and also the conference that is upcoming.
But now, you have been in business for 9 years as a consultant and in a very interesting space of construction.
Yes.
And with respect to you being a young woman, it's, historically, traditionally not been a field for young women to be involved in. And what got you interested in construction besides the fact that there were gaps that you wanted to fill?
What is interesting about construction? It is a very big industry. It is the contribution to the GDP of the country. It's a massive industry, and it has different pockets within it. So that's what got me excited about the industry. It is not a one lane, if I might put it that way, which is why one could then sit and look at the industry from a certain perspective and see the gaps and try and patch those gaps. And traditionally, construction industry, everybody looks at it in the sense of a brick and mortar, that if you're participating in this industry, you're either building or supplying material. And yet there's a lot of other gray areas within the industry that are not tapped into. And
different professions that go with it, trades and so on. There's so much that goes on in the value chain of construction, right? From the planning, the assessments, the architects, the construction, the project management, the plumbing, the tiling, the whatever, the carpentry. There's a lot of stuff. Now that you mention it, I can visualize that. Yes. But for you personally, what is it that got you interested in business? Because as much as we talk entrepreneurship, that the opportunities are there, there are struggles with funding, there's still some quality that you need to have as an individual who goes into business.
What got me, I think it's an instinct that everybody develops or maybe is born with, because I started selling from school. You would sell sweets, you would sell this, you would sell that. And I actually think that IDC and our government, it's something they should nurture from a very young age, from school-going children, because that is already there. By the time you are 20, you've already matured certain skill sets. But if they take trouble in nurturing those kids from that young age, by the time they get to their 20s, already they can be channeled and directed into a certain line, so that we don't spend too much time trying to figure out where to place young people in society. By the time they reach their 20s, we already know that this one and this one and this one, they have it in them to be entrepreneurs.
But having advised your own peers, which is interesting, where are the weaknesses, that you'd like to identify and share with them and say, avoid this, avoid that? What did you observe over that period of time?
What I've observed, it's very important to sit with people that are within your area of interest. And I think especially people that have been there, talk to people. More often people are shy to talk about their ideas, about their vision, about what they hope for. And you find that if you don't do that, you then die with the same vision that you had. So go out there, talk to people that are older than you, that have been through this path, that have walked this path. They will help you. But again, read about the industry that you are excited about. For example, there's an issue of funding. It is a problem that is there, and funding will not fall from the sky. But it's very important that when you understand your industry, you know that, okay, there's certain services I can provide that do not require me to have capital, for example. Whilst on the other side, you're also involved in things that require you to have capital. So you need to find a balance. You need to juggle. Actually, you need to sail if you want to be in business.
Sure. And going back to your app, the HouseLab, you call it, right?
Yes.
Are you making money?
Not
Or
yet.
how does it work from a business point of view? You know, practically, I know what the solution is all about, but as a business product, how does it work? What happens? You sell it, or how do you make money out of it?
We sell licenses
Okay.
to companies. For example, our biggest stakeholders would be like the NHBRC,
Yeah.
that has that conducts huge amounts of inspections for houses.
Yes.
So entities like that are our primary clients.
Okay.
that we look forward to. But again, the general public, the home buyers, because if you are to go and buy a house tomorrow, you need to know the integrity of that house. And that knowledge that we'll get from an inspection, it will actually equip you to even negotiate the price of that particular
All right, let's
property
get
that you
to
want
some
to
business then on the show, right? Where should people go if they want to license HouseLab?
Okay. My email address is Sesethu,
Yeah.
Sesethu @houselab.co.za.
All right, and then they'll get more information.
Then they'll
right?
get more information from there.
Okay. Well, thanks again. You've
Thank
stayed
you.
the path for 9 years, and it looks like you have got additional decades to add to the journey that you're on. But we appreciate that you came to spend time with us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Modise, and thank you to your listeners, and thank you to the IDC.
Much appreciated. Sesethu Loyilane is the founder of Vuka Business Consultants, and she's been our guest tonight. IDC will be hosting a youth conference where business and opportunities for funding will be discussed, and we'll update you on that information.